everybody, and welcome to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I am Eric. Up on the bar for today, Rabbit Hole Dareringer Straight Bourbon Whiskey. As always here on the channel, nose taste finish review. This whiskey's coming right your way. I'll tell you a little bit about the value, give you my final thoughts and a final score, leave you with a malt musing. But first, if you've yet to, take a second, smash that subscribe button. That'll make sure you don't miss any of my reviews. They drop every Friday here on YouTube, as well as keep you in the loop for my happy hours, which are every single Tuesday, Tasty Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on YouTube. All right, so Rabbit Hill Dareringer. This is an interesting one. This is bottled at 46.5%. It is non-chill filtered, and since it's a bourbon, we know it's natural color. This is coming out of the Rabbit Hole Distillery. They are in Louisville, Kentucky. Relatively new distillery, opened in 2012. This whiskey in particular is finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry. Now, that's something you normally would see with a lot of single malt scotches, but increasingly you're seeing bourbon distillers trying their hand at sherry finishes. So this one in particular, they say it is twice finished in new toasted and charred American oak barrels. So there's toasted oak in addition to the regular new charred oak maturation, and the Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. It does say here that this won a gold medal at the New York Spirits Competition 2017. So that's the story here on the Dareringer from Rabbit Hole. And I'm going to get some of this in the glass and let's taste it. As I mentioned, this is a natural color because bourbon by law has to be naturally colored. So that is what we are looking at. Quite nice looking. There's no age statement on it, but it is a straight bourbon, so we know it's at least 2 years old. Okay, let's get into it. Very sweet, a little bit of spice on the nose. It smells like it's heavy. It's got a full body. Hints of cherry, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of that oak char caramel. So far, the nose, it's very imbalanced. That's something you would potentially worry about with a whiskey like this, is that sherry finish is going to really overpower the traditional bourbon notes. Not happening here so much. Very nice sweet fruit though. Great nose. Bit of vanilla here too, actually, just in the end. It's giving it kind of this creamy quality, almost maybe like an almond as well. Yeah, really like the nose on this. Give it a taste. Cheers, y'all. As expected, it arrives pretty full body. Bit oily. Right away, the sweet fruit and those oak charred, toasted oak bourbon cask is really making its influence known here. You get a nice, almost caramelized sugar, caramel, dark fruits like berries, maybe raisin, definitely raisin, maybe blackberry a little bit. Some sweet red fruits as well, berry perhaps. As it goes into the finish, it dries a little bit. We're getting a nice dry, but it is not tannic. It's actually, the balance on this I think is done really well, and it kind of offsets that the tannicness of how a red wine would dry out your palate. Instead, you get a nice creaminess. There's a little bit of a caramel, almost like a root beer kind of effervescent soda quality, and just very creamy red fruits, dark red fruits, vanilla, maybe even a little bit of honey. Very nicely balanced. Okay, 46.5%. I'm going to drop just a little bit of water here on this whiskey. Just 2 drops. Let's see if we get anything else here on the nose. So that sherry is a bit stronger now. More like dried red. Almost like a Christmas spice, baking spices. Hint of the new make spirits, a little bit on the youthful side. You can detect a little bit. It's almost kind of like a concrete note. Very in the background. It is a bit more lively, less creamy, more effervescent now with the water, but still really, really nice balance. Let's give it another try here. mellow sipper, man. Wow. The rye is nice, thick, mellow, full bodied, sticky. Again, raisin, caramel, hints of vanilla, hints of oak spice. There's like a toasted almond quality to it. The tobacco that I noticed on the nose neat, sort of here a little bit now too. Finish again, drying but creamy. So you do get a little bit of that after the spice. You get some dry, goes into a drier finish, but some really nice fruit notes, dark fruit, sticky, sweet. One more sip. Bottle of Rabbit Hole Dareringer. Pretty readily available here in the United States. This will run you right around $70. So a bit on the more pricey side for bourbon. However, as you know with Scotch whiskeys, aging things in sherry is a bit more expensive. So I think it's competitively priced, that 65, 70 range. And I'm going to give this a medium value. Okay. Final thoughts here. Rabbit Hole Dareringer. This is a really good whiskey. I think they did an incredible job balancing out the sweetness of a PX sherry with the sweetness of a bourbon. In Scotch whiskey, you find PX a lot, and it's usually the sweet part of it, and then you get a little bit more of the bitter, mixed from the spirit itself. This being corn, a lot of sweetness, but it's done really well. Again, we don't know how old it is, but I think, it's at least 2 years, and I'll tell you, if it's not a day older than that, you wouldn't be able to tell. It's a really quality product. And I think it speaks a lot to what you can do with bourbon when it comes to sherry finishes. I've been always kind of skeptical about it. I've only had a few that I wasn't quite impressed with. I would have to say this is probably by far the most impressive I've had. If you're a Scotch drinker, especially if you like a lot of sherry single malts, this is a great bourbon to pick up to see what we're doing here in the United States when it comes to bourbon and sherry casks. So a lot of praise here for the Dareringer. I'm looking forward to trying some other things out of the Rabbit Hole line. I am going to give this a 4 out of 5. So a healthy, strong score for a really good whiskey. I definitely encourage you to throw down the extra dollars and pick this up if you have any interest at all in a sherry bourbon. This is just really good stuff. 4 out of 5, that's the final score here on the Rabbit Hole Dareringer. And with that, I will kick you on over to your malt musing and enjoy the rest of this dram. And I'll catch you guys next week here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews.